Welcome back, 9:41. You can tell it's human. My hairspray's falling out. Ameren, Illinois joins us in the studio. Jason, Klein, Paula, Nixon. And Paula, good to see you back in the studio again.
Thank you. Great to be back.
And Jason, good to meet you.
Good to meet you as well. Thanks for having us.
Well, and really great to have you in the studio, especially after what the St. Louis region just, experienced the couple of weeks ago. And, for the last couple of months, having conversations with Ameren and hearing about what it takes and being in those communications with local leaders and infrastructural officials too. I mean, it's incredible to hear that beforehand, just to get some basic information about how you guys manage a storm, especially one that's a historic storm like this one was.
Yeah, and it's really, like I said, was saying a little bit earlier, it's really a concerted team effort, lots of communication that happens, and really from a preparation standpoint, we start preparing for a storm multiple days in advance, thinking about the weather that's happening out there right now. We started looking at what the weather predictions were going to be, on Sunday, and then started making preparations for what events might happen this week. So similar to the May 16th storm, same type of process. We look, we got a 24-hour operations that's monitoring our weather and really, keeps us in the know of what's going to happen and when it's going to happen.
See, that's what I think is so fascinating, too, because, you're a massive operation, and whenever you have, especially a Midwest storm pattern that could change in an instant notice and, a couple of miles shift, and we're talking a whole different scenario, how quick do you guys have different plans in place? If it's going to be the worst outcome possible, comparatively speaking, to if it's going to be just a minor storm. If the pattern changes, are there different plans in place for that, or different protocols?
There are different. Overall, it's the same big plan, but we do bring in different aspects of the plan. So, a typical storm, we notify our Ameren coworkers, have them on alert before the storm ever gets there. But then, depending on the level of severity that we think it's going to be, we may reach out to some of our off-property contractors, in neighboring states, find out what availability they have, where they're at, how soon they can get to Illinois, and so that we can have additional resources on property, just as soon as we need them.
Well, and see, that just the turnaround time there is just it's so fascinating to me, and it's something I can't get past. Is that literally at a flip of a switch, you're getting all hands on deck, and we're moving forward to restore towns back to somewhat of a normal flow.
Yeah, correct. And like I said, by having our team on notice advance of the storm, they're well aware, and they're watching the weather just like everybody else is, so they're prepared. And then by making those proactive phone calls to other contractors and other vendors, we're just able to bring those people in quicker. The May 16th storm, for example, we called them on Friday morning, and by 5 o'clock Saturday morning, they were here working.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and now with your role too, as you were just recently promoted to vice president of the electric operation. What is that? What does your conversation now look like when it comes to just what you have to monitor on your end of things when a massive storm comes through? Because Paula, we'll talk about the community relations side of things here in a second. But in your position, are there multiple spokes on your wheel, or are you highly focused on one department and making sure that you can get the team leads in place?
Yeah, so it's really it's a big wheel with a lot of spokes, and really, if I think about it, from our customer communications team to our contact centers to our safety group, our electric operations, forestry, logistics, material stores, trailers, equipment that we can bring in. It's a department of a group of probably 20 different departments that we bring together during a storm restoration effort. And again, everybody's working together, doing what they do best to be able to restore our customers as quickly and safely as possible.
When I also heard that after the Illinois efforts were wrapped up and taken care of, you were able to send some support over to the St. Louis side of things to make sure that they were getting the help that they needed and a little bit more some.
Yeah, absolutely. So, worrying about our customers in Illinois is certainly important, but also worrying about all of our Ameren customers is just as important. It was sometime on Sunday, I believe, we started sending additional resources over to Missouri. We had the people that we needed in Granite City in the Madison County area, and then we were able to start sending resources over to Missouri to help with their restoration effort.
Well, and Paula, on this side of of the storm, on this side of the river of the storm, Granite City got just hit pretty hard, and some of the photos and reports that we were getting the moment the storm came in. What does your communication look like with elected officials or government leaders when it comes to what appears to be major infrastructural issues and major damage to certain sectors of a town?
Sure. Well, as Jason said, it's a concerted effort, and there are many ingredients that go into the pot to make a perfect stew. So my portion, right. Community outreach. We reach out to everyone from our emergency management directors to local community leaders, municipal leaders, to our community organizations, and we let them know the information we get from operations, then we pass that on to them, and we let them know that we are prepared. We're in the state of getting prepared, but we're prepared for whatever may happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, and when the storm comes in, especially when it comes to Granite City, how early are you starting the conversations with Mayor Parkinson on what issues you're facing? Does it come after the storm so you can assess damage first, or does it come before that too?
No, it comes way before the storm, CJ. I was on the phone with Mayor Parkinson. I was on the phone with his streets director, his public works director, and the streets director as well, the fire chief. I was talking to all of them before the storm. Once I get information from Jason's group, from operations, I'm on the phone with our communities. I was talking with Mayor Parkinson. He called me that night as soon as it happened and invited me to come over to their EOC, the city's EOC. And a few hours later, we were boots on the ground. I was with the mayor. I was with the streets director.
Well, and take me through some of the sites that you saw from that storm, some of the damage, just for maybe some of the folks that didn't get that perspective or didn't understand what was happening.
Well, there was total devastation. I mean, the community, the Granite City community was devastated. There was destruction and devastation. You saw a lot on the Metro East. Basically, you saw more about St. Louis, but there was a lot of destruction in Granite City. And it was great to look up and see those white line trucks rolling up. It was great to partner with the community as well, and they knew we were there. So.
Well, and now too, we, again, just kind of talking about some of the things that we've mentioned on the show with Ameren already. I mean, 90 poles down, and lots of supporting grid equipment that was damaged too. I mean, that's not just a little bit of an issue. That's something that takes quite the effort to organize and get underway. And is it just one of those things where you establish the area first of the highest or most critical need, and you work out from there, or is it just work as you see fit?
Yeah, really our restoration process is trying to restore. We work to restore the most critical customers first. So hospitals, nursing homes, police departments, fire departments. We work to restore those, critical life safety customers first, and then we work to restore the largest amount of customers we can as quickly and as safely as we can. And then as the process goes on, then we get to those individual houses, individual services, and restore those, as we get to them.
Well, and what I think is really fascinating too is the after the storm hits, you're 24 hours out, and it's starting to calm down, but the damage is still there, and then the residents of that prospective area have questions, and that's where I'm sure communication is so important too, of what resources are needed or what resources are available currently, and then also making sure that you're keeping your clients aware of what Ameren identifies themselves as Ameren, and how that it's an Ameren rep that's coming to talk to you, because we just recently saw the situation in Madison County where there's some folks that are going out and be doing some unlawful activity, but to communicate and make sure that with, hey, here's who we are, here's what we're doing, and here's what's available to you now has got to be so important.
It's extremely important. And to speak to the story on the Madison County situation, our communications department is always following up on those types of situations. And whenever an Ameren coworker is coming to someone's house, they are going to have an Ameren ID badge on, and you're going to see an Ameren vehicle as well. Right. So we'll be well identified.
And that's something that we've talked about on the show before too, is that you're going to know that Ameren's knocking on your door. It's not a subcontractor from Iowa that's coming in and doing the job for Ameren. And whenever somebody's looking for answers, their power's out, or maybe they're waiting to see how long something's going to take or what the circumstance is, what's the best advice that you can give somebody, that especially if they have an older adult in their house, or maybe they are an older adult themselves, have CPAP machines and you name it? What's the best way to stay calm and just get the most up-to-date information on when power's going to come back on and when we can return to normal?
Well, Ameren.com. That's first of all, we have our outage map on Ameren.com on our website. Also, 800-755-5000 is our customer service line. You can call that line and you can get constant updates on that line. And we are going to provide you with updates. Well,
and that's something that you guys have always been very good at, even for something that's as minor as maybe, just a pole snapping from high winds or just from being a little bit older. We know within a moment's instant notice that, hey, we have something going on and we'll be cleaning up and we'll be done within an hour and a half.
Right. Yeah. In addition to what Paula mentioned, there's also our Ameren mobile app, and you can sign up for outage notifications and text alerts there as well. So as we assess the situation and determine when we think we're going to be able to have an estimated safe restoration time, we'll update that in our system. And then for those customers that have signed up for text alerts, it will give them a text message that says, this is the latest information that we have.
Well, and that's good for residents to know, too, because sometimes I think they get frustrated with cities because they go, well, how come I knew this information, or we got this before you put it out there? And it's not just there's so much going on. It's trying to make sure that you're getting the most important information, out right away to the masses. But if we can have that on the back end, we're taken care of.
Right, exactly.
You guys got a moment to stick around?
Absolutely.
I got to pay a quick bill. 9:53, a little bit of change on this Wednesday morning. We'll come back with more Daily Show on RiverBender.com and Roku TV.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car. I have a job. There's nothing holding me back anymore.
Do you need to declutter your space? Time to call me, the Queen of Junk. Since 1993, we have grown to be the leader in residential, commercial, and property management junk removal. At Sparks Junk Removal, we are eco-friendly. We recycle, donate, or repurpose items back into our community. Trash is our last resort to the landfill. Plus, with our all-inclusive service, our crews handle everything from labor to lifting and landfill fees. Give us a call or visit our website, sparksjunkremoval.net, to reclaim your space today.
When you need a project done right, on budget and on time, trust Gillahan Concrete. Gillahan handles every kind of project, big and small. Commercial, industrial, residential, from room additions and garages to patios, driveways, and more. Gillahan brings quality and experience to every job. Family owned with over 30 years of service to our community. Call today at 618-781-3914 or visit GillahanConcrete.com.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to mouth-watering pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more, Carver's serves up award-winning flavors you'll love. Family-owned, Carver's is all about fresh, made in-house dishes served daily. Come visit us at 2716 Groveland in Godfrey, or give us a call at 618-467-9999. Order online, get it catered, or stop by for the best smoked meats around. Where great flavors meet family tradition, you'll find Carver's Barbecue.
Have a rash, pink eye, or urinary tract infection and need care now? OSF On Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Start a virtual visit 24/7, whenever and wherever you need it. It's just that easy. OSFOnCall.org/virtual visit.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
It's 9:55. Welcome back, Daily Show on a Wednesday. Want to just come back real quick. There is a planned power outage for Godfrey tonight in conjunction with the roundabout, and really appreciate you just kind of filling us in on that, Jason, real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have to relocate some of our electric facilities due to the IDOT project and the new roundabout. So to be able to safely move our wires from the old poles to the new poles, we need to take our customers out of service. So that's prearranged for tonight. We like to do those overnight to have the least impact on our customers. So hopefully while our customers are sleeping, the lights will go out. They'll be back on in the morning before they wake back up, and we'll be able to get our work accomplished overnight.
No different than an overnight snowstorm,
Yep.
And from the good old days. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And that way you can just charge your phones, and just like Paul and I have talked about before, how to prepare for a power outage. Now you just know one's going to be here, and just for some good infrastructure improvements too.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and getting back into the storm, and it's such an interesting thing because you still have the other daily operations and tasks of Ameren, and which is a massive undertaking, and it still fascinates me that you guys can go from that to storm management mode so quickly. And for your team and your linemen and all the folks that are working those hours, what's it like on the flip side of that afterwards? Do they just go right back to their normal schedule after storm duty?
Yeah, so after storm response like that, obviously they're working 17, 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
So they need to take a little break. They need to get caught up on some rest. But right after that, it's really getting right back into our normal operations and trying to hook up new customers, run new services, and rebuild our facilities like we do every other day.
Man, I got to take like 3 days off if I just have a minor inconvenience,
Yeah,
I don't know if I could do, but Paula, whenever going back into the comm side of things too, how quickly are you up to date with city officials? Once I was thinking about this during the break, once the tornado or there's a cell in the area and that this is looking pretty rough, are you on the phone with them that minute, or is it one of those things that's it's best to wait until that storm system passes over that community? You already talked to them on the front side of it. Let's wait till it passes to see where we're at, or are you on the phone with them that minute saying, here's where we're at, do you guys see anything? What's that look like?
Well, CJ, like you said, we've already prepared them. We've told them, hey, we're prepared. This is what's coming in, and lots of times they're watching the weather as well, so they know what's on the way. But from my standpoint, we wait. My group, we wait until it's over, until we get word from operations, and we've been prepared all the way through. They've given us information to say, hey, we're going to start at 5 a.m. A, B, C, and D. We've gotten directions as well, but we've already shared that with the community leaders and municipal leaders. But we wait until it's over, and then assessment comes into play. And once things have been assessed, there's usually a call. Jason will have a call with everyone, and then we get updates from there, and then we're able to share that with our communities.
Wow. I mean, it just shows you, though, and because we were talking about it earlier, just how there's all these spokes on the wheel, Jason, but you're right. I'm just hearing Paula say that the communication line is just so important when it comes to this, because, you're not managing 10 people. This is, hundreds and thousands of people, plus your clients and everyone else that relies on Ameren service territory.
Right. Yeah. It's truly a communication effort.
Wow.
This May storm, we had roughly 1,100 people engaged in that restoration effort. So to coordinate that, and that was across the entire state. So to coordinate that, to make sure everybody's on the same page, marching in the same direction, communication is key. But also, quite honestly, communicating with our customers is just as key. Giving them the information as soon as we know it, so that they can make plans to do whatever they need to do, whether that's go to a hotel, maybe change what their business operation is for the weekend because of a power outage. Us trying to communicate that information to them as quickly as we know it, where we have reliable data. We think that's extremely important. We do our best to get that information out there as soon as we can.
I'm just excited that we had these conversations beforehand, before the storms and all that, because we talked about down power lines and how to, deal with them if they fall on your vehicle or anything like that. And it's one of those things where you think, oh, that's a once in a million circumstance, until you have a storm like this. And every once in a million circumstance seems to happen, within the region. And before I let you two go today, what's your final thoughts just on storms like this and just your efforts and what Ameren does to rebuild and move forward as quickly as possible?
I'd just like to say thank you to our customers. I want them to know that the Ameren team's out there doing everything we can as quickly and safely as we can to get service restored. But I also know that it's an inconvenience for our customers. So really just want to say thank you to them. Thank you for their patience. Thanks for the community leaders and all the work that they do in coordination with us to get the streets cleared so that we can get in there to restore service just as quickly as we can.
Absolutely. Paul, anything else to add?
You know what? Jason has summed it up. I would like to throw in, always be prepared. I'm going to go back 2 months and just say, be prepared. Have a storm preparedness kit, an emergency preparedness kit, and be prepared. And like Jason mentioned earlier, sign up for the mobile alerts.
100%. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. It was a great conversation. I hope to have you both back on the show soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
10:01, little bit of change. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back with Centerstone right after this in the heart of the 618.